here.
Let's see blue, okay.
Okay, coconuts, any monoculture plant, they're forcing it to be growing in this plant, in this ground, year after year after year.
Yeah.
And so whatever's in the soil now gets farmed out of the soil, and they're not putting it back into the soil. Then you have pests growing in there, you have other kinds of bugs in there because this environment is so out of balance.
Even with coconuts, that takes so long. I mean, it takes so long to.
Well, it does, because you can't plant a coconut tree and get a cob of corn,
Right.
in 3 months.
Yeah, right.
It takes 10 years, 5 years to get a
So-
plant to produce something. That's why they were doing it in the 80s, and the junk science didn't start coming out until the early 90s.
Oh, they don't say, yeah, okay.
You see, because they had to have the
Uh-huh.
crops, and you wanted to say something.
And I was just thinking about her question about being Irish, so from our genetic standpoint of who we are, that does make sense, so what kind of oil should she be ingesting?
Yeah, I don't know, but when I was talking to my mom about that, so I looked it up just on my phone, just while we were driving, like, what did they used to eat in Ireland before the potato famine? And it was stuff like yogurt.
Animal
Animals
fat.
and yogurt, yeah, exactly.
Totally animal
Fermented
Mhm.
dairy and animal products and.
I had this question, I remember sitting in 8th grade biology, and they were trying to tell me that we needed to eat all these plants in order to make us. And I'm like, I don't get that. It was conflicting for me. And then all this, years later now, I'm having all these conversations, okay? Animal protein makes animal meat in like me. A cow is different, I'm definitely not a cow. They're the only, those kinds of systems in that digestive system I'm talking about is the only conversion of plant milk protein to animal protein. And when we eat plant proteins, very negative things happen to us. We're not designed to eat high amounts of animal protein. Because plant protein, because plant protein has all these things like gluten is a plant protein, lectin is a plant protein. Yeah, it's a protein, but nature has put into the plant all these protection mechanisms so species can keep going year after year after year. But in us, as the predator eats the plant, what are the first things that get shot? What are some of the diseases today in humans? First thing, very high, is reproductive problems. We have sterility, like, amazingly nuts. We have all kinds of endocrine system problems, like diabetes, autoimmune problems, like, are rampant. And that's pretty much all based in plant-based diet.
Well, we give babies soy formula now, and so like in our program, we have 10-year-olds with Hashimoto's and Graves' disease,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The plant has put in the chemicals into the plant to cause the predators to eventually die off before they die off. So it's very simple. You eat a high plant-based diet, like a 10-year-old getting Hashimoto's is insane.
Yeah.
When that was used to be up until not too long ago, that was like somebody in their 70s used to get. So now you have multiplication of degeneration happening faster and faster. So generations now eating a high plant-based diet. You have kids being born. We are seeing kids being born with diabetes.
Oh my goodness.
God.
We're having kids being born that are lactose intolerant right out of the womb.
That sounds like that's what happened to you.
I mean, all kinds of things now that used to be 70 and 80-year-olds that get these problems. Now kids are just being born with it.
Yeah, there was some statistic, because I was wondering about Fukushima and what's happening on the West Coast, because it's completely out of the news, and there was a snippet that I found online that is something like 28% of babies on the West Coast are presenting with thyroid issues.
And it's funny because last year we were here, we went all the way up from here, all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge, and I have a Geiger counter and I have a couple of other instruments, and we got zero radiation the whole way up. We had radiation only around the nuclear plants, up by, what was it, Oceanside or Pendleton?
So do you
That's
think
shut
it's
down.
not really the radiation or eating?
Yeah, I think the whole
fish
Fukushima
is-
thing is a scam.
Really?
Absolutely.
And so do you think
We
Do
got
you
more
think
radiation
like
in
a statistic
Pennsylvania.
like that is incorrect, or do you think it's correct, but it's happening more from diet?
I think it's tier one telling you things
Oh, okay.
to then justify keep eating your plant-based diet.
Hmm.
Because it's more prevalent here in California on the west coast than it is on the east coast.
Or even just suggestion, the power of suggestion.
We found more radiation at home in Pennsylvania though than what we
Really?
found on the California
Well,
coast.
that makes me feel better.
There's six, there's, we,
Not for Pennsylvania, of course, but.
there's 6 radioactive nuclear plants close to us, and we got families close to a couple of them.
Yeah.
And one of the families is 6 miles directly east of the one by Philadelphia. And they came to us with high levels of radioactive elements, and they're still there. They're going down, the body's getting
How did you
healthier.
measure it with that?
Oh, with the scan,
Oh, with that scan? I'm sorry, I pointed to her. Her scan?
yes.
This scan?
So,
Yeah, we've got all radioactive elements in there.
so then the protocol and the combination of everything
Reverses
you
all
are
that.
able, okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
We're able to look at genetic, if you have synthetic gene mutations and augmentations synthetically, like from eating GMOs or from infections or from malnutrition, and that stuff goes away over time.
So is
This
this,
is an amazing machine we live
Yeah.
in if it has the right tools.
exactly, that will bring itself back into balance.
They're like the great mutators, adapters. This thing adapts to environmental changes if it has
Yeah.
the tools relatively well.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. So we live in this polluted world now, but even having to live in this polluted world, our bodies can still do amazing things to allow us to be vibrant amongst all these pollutants. At least that's my belief.
You're right. We agree.
We agree. We have our own personal experience with that is definitely aligned.